Welcome to Sportpen. We're jumping straight into a season that's, well, it's pure baseball magic. The 1998 New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah. An iconic team.
Forget just a good year. This was legendary, a truly legendary run. We saw an American League record, what was it, 114 regular season wins?
114, that's right. And then just rolling through the playoff.
Followed by a World Series sweep. So today, we're not just, rattling off stats.
No, definitely not.
We're diving deep into the moments, the sheer grit, and those unforgettable performances that really cemented this team's place in sports history.
Absolutely.
And maybe try to understand what truly makes a team great, how a season like the 98 Yankees actually kind of redefines what we think is possible in sports.
It's a great point, because the sheer number of wins in 98, it can almost numb you to the specifics. But when you peel back the layers, you find this fascinating story of resilience and, a collection of talent that just clicked. So our goal is to really pinpoint those critical junctures and understand how all that individual brilliance became such a collective force.
Okay, so they didn't exactly explode out of the gate, right? April had a bit of a wobble.
Yeah, that early part of the season is actually quite telling. They did have some initial setbacks, a few losses early on, but by the end of April, they were sitting atop the AL East with a 17-6 record.
Wow, okay, so they turned it around pretty quick.
Exactly. That ability to not only recover, but then, dominate, it speaks volumes about their internal fortitude. This wasn't a fragile team. They clearly had the mental toughness to weather those early storms.
And it wasn't just one guy carrying them, was it?
Yeah.
You look down that roster and it's star after star, really.
Oh, absolutely.
Scott Brovius has mentioned some of those iconic snapshots, like David Wells getting hoisted off the field after his perfect game.
An amazing moment. Perfect game.
And Bernie Williams snagging that batting title. And I love this, his curtain call in flip-flops. Yeah, you can't make that stuff up. Those moments, they definitely add to the whole legend, don't they?
They really do.
And like Brogius pointed out, you also had the electric arrival of Orlando El Duque Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then Shane Spencer's unbelievable power surge in September.
Out of nowhere, almost.
Kind of. And what's interesting is how these seemingly separate bursts of brilliance actually supported each other. Like Hernandez arriving in June.
Right.
It gave the entire starting rotation a lift. You could see it. It really brought down their collective ERA for the rest of the season and into the playoffs.
So it wasn't just his starts. It boosted everyone.
It seemed to, yeah. It created this real sense of depth and, I guess, security for the whole staff.
Right. And then there's the offense. Just the sheer power. Tino Martinez's grand slam, Game 1 of the World Series.
Oh, huge. That's the kind of moment that can just define a whole postseason, let alone a season.
Exactly. And Bernie Williams leading the league and hitting it at .339.
With a nearly 1.000 OPS. That's just sustained excellence all year long.
Williams' output that year was just phenomenal. To hit for that kind of average while also delivering power and getting on base so consistently, that's elite.
Yeah.
And then you put that alongside Derek Jeter's year leading the team in runs and hits, batting over .320.
Another stellar year for him.
Yeah, and putting up significant wins above replacement, which basically just shows how incredibly valuable he was.
So you have these two engines just driving the offense.
Working in perfect sync, yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like that.
And you can't forget Paul O'Neill. The guy was just relentless at the plate, .317 average, a ton of doubles, homers, RBIs.
Consistent production.
But Joe Torre said it best, right? Describing his desperation to win. You could just see that fire.
You really could. And that intrinsic drive, it's something you can't always measure with stats, but it's absolutely vital for a championship team. O'Neill just embodied that unwavering will to win that seemed to, permeate the entire clubhouse. It wasn't solely about talent. It was that inner fire.
Right.
And then, like you mentioned, you have a player like Shane Spencer suddenly becomes this offensive force in September, hitting 10 home runs in less than a month.
That's wild.
That kind of unexpected contribution, it can inject so much energy and belief into a team, especially late in the season.
No kidding. And Chuck Knobloch, even with the fielding stuff that came later.
Yeah, the yips were tough later on.
But in 98, he was such a tough out. I remember hearing him nicknamed Foul Chucky because he'd just keep fouling off pitches, driving pitchers crazy.
He really would. That ability to wear down pitchers, fouling off so many pitches, it was a real asset, even if it wasn't flashy.
Yeah.
And then he comes up with that massive 3-run homer in the World Series to tie the game in the 7th inning.
Ice in his veins right there.
Right. Exactly. It highlights the depth, different guys stepping up when it mattered most.
Okay.
Then you have someone like Orlando Hernandez, El Duque, coming from Cuba, where reportedly he was never even taken out of a game.
Seriously, I hadn't heard that specific detail.
Yeah, that's the story. Suggests just remarkable stamina and maybe a unique kind of mentality he brought to that staff.
Wow. And of course, you just can't talk about this Yankees era, especially 98, without mentioning Mariano Rivera.
The Sandman. Unavoidable.
Now, our info doesn't detail his specific 98 regular season stats right here, but we all know the legend he became, just knowing he was waiting in the bullpen.
Oh, absolutely. That had to be a massive psychological advantage for the Yankees and terrifying for opponents. Even early in his closer role, Rivera's consistency, his reliability, it provided this enormous sense of security for the whole team.
Right. Dame feels shorter?
Exactly. Opponents knew once you get to the 8th, 9th inning, scoring chances just plummet. He was already a cornerstone of their success, and 98 was a key part of him becoming that legend.
So beyond all the individual brilliance, it really sounds like the team chemistry and Joe Torre's leadership were just absolutely critical.
Wouldn't agree more.
Managing all those big personalities, creating that winning atmosphere.
Torre's calm, steady hand at the helm was, you hear it again and again, a crucial factor. Joe Girardi told that story about Torre's measured response to George Steinbrenner after a tough loss in the 96 World Series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just perfectly illustrates his ability to handle immense pressure and keep everyone focused, keep the noise out.
That kind of leadership from the top, it just breeds confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right through the clubhouse.
It really does. It builds that trust, that stability.
And the players themselves, they talked about having this genuine sense of camaraderie, like a family.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds like a cliche sometimes, but it clearly translated into how they played together on the field.
That strong internal bond, that's often what separates the truly exceptional teams from just the really good ones. When players genuinely seem to care about each other and they're all pulling for that common goal, it elevates their performance together.
Yeah.
And the fact that opposing teams apparently develop this sense of, inevitability.
Like, oh no, here they come again.
Exactly. That the Yankees would always find a way to win, even when they were trailing late. That's a powerful testament to their collective belief and their resilience.
And having those veterans helped too, right?
Yeah.
Guys with that built-in will to win.
For sure. They set the standard, set the tone for the entire team.
And the front office, they made some smart moves too. Like bringing in Scott Brosius.
Good example.
It was seen as maybe a quieter deal at the time, sending Kenny Rogers to Oakland.
Right, not a blockbuster name.
But Brosius just slotted right in at third base and became such a vital part of that team. Won the World Series MVP too.
He did. That acquisition was just a perfect example of addressing a specific need really effectively. He wasn't maybe the headline-grabbing name, but he gave them consistent production, solid defense at a key spot, and by all accounts just fit right into that team dynamic.
Those kinds of under-the-radar moves can often be just as impactful as the big splashes, can't they?
Sometimes even more so, yeah. They round out the team perfectly.
And let's not forget the sheer dominance in the numbers again. I mean, 114 regular season wins. It's just unbelievable.
It really is an incredible achievement just to sustain that level all season.
And then to sweep a Padres team that had won 98 games themselves in the World Series.
Right. That wasn't a weak opponent they swept. That Padres team was really good.
So they weren't just winning. They were often just overpowering teams.
Oh.
And scoring nearly 1,000 runs, 965 runs in the regular season.
The statistics are truly remarkable. To get to 114 wins requires such a high level of performance across everything: hitting, pitching, defense, base running, day in, day out. And sweeping that very strong Padres team in the World Series, it just underscores their superiority that year.
And what's fascinating, too, you mentioned the offense. They did all that without a single player hitting 30 home runs.
That's right. It highlights the incredible balance and depth of their lineup. They weren't just relying on one or two big boppers to carry them. Everyone contributed.
Contributions up and down the order.
Exactly.
So when we talk about greatness, then, it's clearly more than just the stats, isn't it? We've kind of touched on it, but when you look at the 98 Yankees, what pushes them into that truly legendary category for you?
It's really that powerful combination, that synergy of all the factors, I think. The statistical dominance provides the foundation, the proofs.
Right, the baseline.
Yeah. But it's amplified by that undeniable team chemistry we talked about, the exceptional leadership from Torre, the resilience they showed time and again, and of course those unforgettable, iconic moments that are now just etched in baseball history. Wells' perfect game, Tino's slam.
Bernie's flip-flops.
Bernie's flip-flops. It's the whole story they created, that whole narrative, that aura of almost like invincibility they seemed to project that year.
Yeah. And their impact, it still resonates today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They were the last team to pull off a three-peat, winning from 98 through 2000.
That sustained excellence, winning 3 straight, it really cements their place, doesn't it?
It really does.
It shows 98 wasn't just a fluke, not a one-off. It was the start of a genuine dynasty.
And even today, you still hear so many fans argue that this 98 Yankees squad was the greatest baseball team ever assembled.
Oh, all the time. And that enduring connection fans still have with that specific team, it speaks volumes about the profound, lasting impact they had on the sport.
The 1998 Yankees, they were just more than a collection of all-stars, weren't they? They were a true force.
A force of nature, almost.
That relentless drive to win, the individual brilliance all pulling in the same direction, under that masterful leadership, it truly was a season for the ages. They offer such an incredible insight into what elevates a team from just being really good to being absolutely legendary.
A case study in greatness.
So, thinking about it, what aspects of their dominance do you find most compelling? And maybe what other teams do you think deserve to be in that same conversation for the greatest ever?
That's a great question to ponder.
Definitely something to keep in mind. Thanks for listening to Sportpen.